G'day, my name's Steve. I'm based in the Gold Coast, Australia, and I'm going to show you just how to get started with Nodalin, and maybe if I make some other videos, we might figure out how to actually do some things. My background, I've been learning to VJ for a year or so. I'm a bit of an unlikely VJ, not quite the demographic, but I love it. Love going down the rabbit hole. Didn't quite cut it as a DJ, so VJing is my thing. I put my name down to be a Nodalin beta tester and was chosen to do that. And I've been working with Aevin, pointing out bugs and things for about a week since it's been released. Some other things, I use Resolume and I use Milkdrop 3 Plus and I use Magic Music Visualizer. I try using Touch Designer, but the learning curve is pretty huge. I just don't want to kind of go down there yet. I will, but not yet. And we'll find that Nodalin is kind of can do some of the stuff that Touch Designer does quite simply. But what today's about is really just to give you a look at the interface and what there is, and maybe we'll have a look at a couple of little things. So when you open it up, this is what you see. This is called a project. Or a network, sorry, this is a network. When you save something, it's going to be called a project. Aevin calls this a graph, this background area, and all these nodes, another node, third node, these nodes are all part of a network. I'm going to get rid of this, just file a new, and get rid of what's there so that we can start from scratch. A few things, obviously there's this menu, you can file, open files, you can edit, there's examples, there's about 70 examples. So this is web-based, so it can be a little bit slow sometimes to load things, if depending on your connection, but there's all sorts of, it's funny seeing this one here, because I found this animated GIF with these characters, and I pointed it out to Aevin, and he's added it as an example. It's pretty funny. We'll get to that some point. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of examples and different things you can do. I'm not going to get into that right now. How do I get out of there? Some settings, various settings for the editor, MIDI settings, audio. These link off to external things, how to audio sync and how to MIDI sync. Documentation and a changelog, they're also external links. It's quite good documentation actually. He's done it in GitHub Docs or something like that, and it actually looks really good. And given that Aevin's English isn't his first language, it's actually excellent English. I went through it because often there'll be all sorts of grammatical stuff that's an issue, but there's not. It's really quite good and quite extensive. Still a bit rough because there's changes happening all the time. In fact, this is hopefully not much of this will change because this is still kind of early beta. Anyway, so there's the frame rate, and we can adjust it. We can go for a target of 60 or 30. I'll come to that in a little while. You can pause. Will load a random project. We can export a project. This is for our MIDI settings. So you can see I've got it goes off the bottom of the page sometimes, the bottom of the screen. And Aevin said I've got too many MIDI devices, which may be true. So the MIDI audio, you can choose your audio. So here's my USB mic that I'm using now. I can talk. Oh, there it is. You can see it. So I can use that as an input device, or there are virtual cables or all sorts of things. Interesting that I can't. Yeah, I'll have to report this. I can't turn off audio. Maybe if I go here. Still learning all the time. I'm learning this, so we'll leave the audio on anyway. But I can't toggle that, so I'll try to remember to tell him. And then that goes off to the docks. That's pretty much the same as this going off to the docks. Whoop. No, I didn't want to do that. Let's go back to the editor. Oh, I'm there. Oh my God. Okay, there we are there. No, there we aren't. There we are. No, that's not it either. There's the editor. Very good. I've got so many things going at once. Don't worry about me. So that's the basic thing. If you've got some feedback, it's a good way to just share thoughts, messages, report bugs, whatever you'd like to see. Pick a character, a category, and right. So we might as well get into what it can actually do, because there's not a lot in the interface. It's pretty clean. It's quite responsive for one thing. To add any kind of node, and that's what these things are called, all the little connectors that we'll see. It's a right click on the desktop, and they're broken up into sources, streams, effects, tools, or you can look at them all. They're not in any particular order at the moment. I've suggested they go in alphabetical order. That'll probably come. But it's as simple as going, give me a circle. I've got alpha turned on at the moment. Let's just turn that off so we get a black background. Editor settings, I'm going to disable. So we get a nice black background. But you can do that. You can, in settings, editor settings, I can have an alpha, a transparent alpha, but just for now. You might find when you start up that you've got this render view over here. There's a couple of things you can do. So this is a circle. We'll just leave it there for a moment. You can change the aspect, 16:9, 9:16. You want to go square, whatever you want. I like that. And you can record. You may find if you're using Firefox this won't work. I have to jump into Chrome at the moment. It's something he's working on, or you can take screenshots. If you want, there's this nice thing, and if you've used Touch Designer, you would know that you can drop your render onto the background, just like that. So that's our same circle, but we can bring it down into the little render area here. I quite like working with it like that until it gets a bit too complicated. So once we've got our circle, I can drag this around the screen. By clicking on the eye, you get a bit of information, the family, the outputs. It's a figure out what are the properties. Some properties will work with some other nodes, some won't. And you can click off to the docs. There's also an on-off, a toggle it, so I can hide it. We'll get back into that. If I right-click on it, then we get some properties. Radius, I can move it on the screen. At the moment, there's no reset. That's coming. We'll be able to just reset it to defaults, or I can delete the node. Oh, that's interesting. Here, there's a little bug here that it retains that. So if I put a square, there it is back there. That should have... Okay, a couple of little things I'll be making notes about to tell him that should open again in the extended render view, this is called. And the same sort of thing, I can make it bigger or smaller. There's also now, because there's no point in having a rotation on a circle, I can rotate it. So now we can get into doing something with this. Going into our nodes, we'll add another node. I'll add a wave. And the wave has a few options. There's sine, cosine, square, and the preview changes to match the type. Let's stay with sine. And if I drag a connector, as they're called, from there to the square, at the moment it's signing. There's a sign, it's going in and out. Well, here's an interesting thing you can do. You can add a text node, and if I connect it up to to the wave, and I've gone the wrong direction. Disconnect. If I connect the wave to it, it'll show me the values. It's happening pretty quickly, but I think you can kind of see there that it's going from minus, I think, 359. So there's one thing. So I can adjust the size of the wave, the amplitude. I can adjust how quickly it does it, and I can offset things. Some things become more obvious when you've got other nodes attached. But this is adjusting this side. If I right click here, there are different properties. So I can have this node, the wave, let's come back out a bit, operate on various aspects of the node it's applied to, so the square. So I can either adjust its X, so it's just moving it through the X range, or so I can right click and look at them, or I can just scroll through them. I can go to Y, or I can rotate it. So now it starts we can do some interesting things. We can rotate it. I could add another, oops, I didn't want a line, delete node. I could add another wave. This time I'm going to make it a triangle, and this is going to be the size. So you can see we're applying two different things at once here. If I want to, I can just stop that. I can't stop these individually. I can stop the actual output at that point. If I added another, like a triangle, and let's just move it a bit, move it across, and I stop that, it doesn't affect. Each is its own, I forget the terminology he uses, but its own path, its own output. Similar with a triangle, I can rotate it if I want, and I could have put a wave or anything onto that. Not too happy with let's get rid of that just so we don't confuse you. Not too happy with the color there. So let's put a color. Okay, we've got red. That's quite nice, but yeah, they're not very happy with red. I can take this wave onto the color, and because it's now starting to get a little confusing here, we'll bring that down. It's operating on the hue. So we're scrolling through the hues. You can see what is. We're getting different color. Okay, so already things are starting to happen. If I go directly into effects, sometimes going here and trying to find the one you're looking for can be a little bit tedious. Go effects. I'm going to add a trail onto here. Oops. I'm going to add the trail from the square. Okay. One of the things you can do with color, so that's pretty interesting just to get started. Let's get rid of this so we make it a little bit cleaner. And one of the things, here, a square, you can change it from color to outline. Right. So you can see how quick and easy this is. And that's being done, you probably make this even more, I couldn't make it much more abbreviated than that, but that's only 6 nodes. 5 nodes. Let me count that. That's only 5 nodes. Let me show you one that I have created that I quite like. As I say, I've only been playing with this for a few hours. Oh yes, so it'll warn you if you've made some changes to a project and you haven't saved it yet. It gives quite interesting names to projects. Mesh Zenithan. You can discard this, and instead we're opening Grid Pulsara. Just ignore these ones for a moment, down on the bottom left. All that's, because this is disabled, the image is disabled, and the square is actually disabled. And then notice they're grayed out compared to the quite white, the others. So I've created this with 4 nodes. And I think you can see the Moya pattern is really interesting. And I just think that's pretty extraordinary for 4 nodes. A bit of, tweaking in the background. A counter will increment, and I'm getting a circular rotation by just continually incrementing the rotation. It'll be up to, well, we could even look. So we can look at a text, and we go our counter onto our text, and we can see it's up to 198,000. It doesn't care. It'll just keep going. But that's just rotating. And then it goes into a grid, and in a grid, here you can see the counter is actually applied to the rotation. So there's that same number again. So I can't adjust it now, but I could adjust the X and the Y. You can use your middle mouse wheel, or you can type a number. I can adjust the stroke width. And I've been playing with this one, just kind of messing around, just seeing what you can actually do here. I think that was where I had it at 1.1. By adding a trail, changing the scale of the trail. Oh, so that's quite amazing too. I keep discovering little things on this one project that I quite like. It's pretty cool, and there's the delay of the decay of the trails, and then finally you can have chromatic coloring. So if I just turn that off, there's nothing. And again, I can change this. It'll split the red, green, and blue. I can bring them back in with 0. It's basically on top of each other, but just give it a little tweak. I don't know where I had it now. I can change the directions. If I don't like it, meh. I'm going to open. Oh, it didn't warn me there. Okay, I'm going to... Another thing. Oh, okay, that's a little bit weird. Anyway, so that's back to the original. Right, that's all I'm going to do. That's about 5 or 10 minutes, just to get you going in Nodalin. The best thing you can do with this is just mess around with it. The more you experiment, the more you discover. This is kind of my most recent one. Here's some the earlier ones. This one's oh, well, there you go. You can see it's audio reactive. Check. 1 1 1. And if I, so it's quite sensitive to the audio, and the audio I can choose the frequencies for what's. I can pick that those mids are doing the width of, and this one is a bit lower and it's doing the spacing of the Y, and this one is bass and it's doing the position X. And again, it's not particularly complex, but it's very powerful. And I've got an image here. I don't even know what it is. Oh, you can throw something in the background. Speaking of images, you can, and I'm not going to save this, you can pick something from Giphy. Quick, I will go, if I go Simpsons, so I can put that in the background, enable it. You can't upload images at the moment, but I think that's coming. All right, that'll do. Oh, that's where I was going. I was just going to show some of the other. This should warn me, but it warns me at the wrong spot. It should warn me as soon as I go out. Anyway, here's a crazy one I made. It's a bit full on, and you wouldn't want to have any seizure issues with this. But this is, again, all I have to do is find the kaleidoscope, disable the kaleidoscope, and it goes back to that. Enable the kaleidoscope. Right, that'll do. Thanks for watching. if you like it, I don't give a shit whether you subscribe or not, or follow or do whatever people do. But just give it a like or something so that I know people are watching this, and then I'll do some more as I explore. As I say, I haven't been even a week on this yet, and most of it is giving feedback to Aevin with little bugs and weird things I find. So I'm starting to go deeper into it, but I just appreciate, I guess, if you let me know that it's useful or something like that, just to get things going. To be honest, I think you're going to learn more by just playing and just digging into it than you will from any tutorials. I don't like most tutorials. They go too quickly. I hope I haven't. And I hope this has been useful to get you started with Nodalin. Oh, and if you ever want to visit my website, vjpanda.au. That's vjpanda.au.